Welcome to another edition of Yorkshire Kris Weekly. Coming up in today's episode,
we'll be having a look at the borders that were planted up this summer for the first time, planting out ferns in a shaded area of the garden, potting up Trachycarpus seedlings, having a look at somebody else's garden in West Yorkshire, stripping lower leaves of a bamboo in the front garden, and then sharing a big announcement at the end of the episode.
welcome back to another series of Yorkshire Kris Weekly. It's been a glorious summer and we've not had many episodes since July, but we're back with a weekly episodes from now on. And for people that have not seen these videos, it's basically my weekly journey of what I do in the garden. So coming into autumn, looking at getting ready for winter and how I put all the plants to bed. And then we'll be going throughout the year in spring, getting the garden ready again for next summer. So, like I said, it's been a beautiful summer. We've had record-breaking temperatures. It's been really, really warm. This area behind me, this is the new bed that started in June this year when it was all planted out, and most of the plants here are grown from seed. So I thought we'd start off this episode by having a look around this part of the garden and seeing how things have grown. So let's have a look around this part of the garden. As I said, most of this is annuals, so grown from seed, and there's a few from tubers, like the dahlias, like this really nice pink one down here, which has been flowering all summer long. And above this we've got the Mexican sunflower. This is a yellow form. This is Tiphonia. And this has grown really well. It's sprawling. If you look right behind, you can see it goes right through this flower bed here. And also, a very strong plant in this area is this Cleome. And this Cleome has been flowering since sort of middle to late July. And it started off down here. And it keeps flowering, getting taller and taller and taller. But the actual flowers are always about this big. It's just got taller and taller and taller. And left behind are all these seed pods, so hopefully I'll be able to get some seeds for next year. And the same with the Tiphonia. All these seeds here, these will be drying off and I'll be able to collect them soon and sow them next year. I'm really pleased with how this area's sort of come together. We've got the Onsetti bananas here, got the ricinus behind. So we move down, we've got one of the palms that I planted this spring. This is a mule palm, the Bootia crossed with the Syagris palm, so it should grow tall like a coconut almost if it survives the winters. And underneath that I've planted lots of cuttings that I did last year, if you remember from my early videos, and this is Irisine. So these were all little cuttings put in a little pot last autumn, and I planted them out. They didn't look much when I planted them out in June, but now they've covered this area really nice, suppressed the weeds, give this really nice colour underneath the greens of the palms and the other plants. So let's just have a look further around. Again, I've got repeated flowers. I've got the Tiphonia and Cleome again, but in this corner I've gone for a really strong, rich red zinnia, again grown from seed. Flowers vary a bit, so you've got this red freshly petaled one here, and as they get older they go a little bit more purpley coloured, and these were grown from seed and they still look fresh. The leaves are vibrant green, still got lots of buds on here, so it'll keep flowering until the first frost. And this is one called Giant Red, and this is flowered all in this area. If you look at this one, that's totally different, isn't it? Again, that's like super double flowered. All the petals here, absolutely millions of petals on that one compared to, say, that one just next to it on the same plant. And if we continue round with repeat flowering again, same sort of plants. If you look in the background, we've got some of the Trachycarpus palms that we've got all along the fence. You can hardly see the small ones now because all these plants have grown up in front of them, but we've got lots of space for them to grow behind here, so that's fine. If we look over here, we've got probably one of the biggest ricin leaves I've ever seen. This is, I measured it the other day, from this tip going across to the other tip was exactly 90 centimetres. That is one huge leaf. So I'll put the species up on the screen for you to see now of which species of ricinus that is, or variety should I say. Behind that I've got more ricinus. We've got the Ancete bananas, so we've got purples and reds and greens coming through here. And then going around here we've got a nice Butea palm, Butea catriensis, and again that's been underplanted with more Iracine, a different type. This is Brillaticium, which is a more vivid but smaller leafed form. Got this nice Colocasia, it's been a bit battered on this corner. This is Fontensii. Dahlias round here, and this is one of my favourite Colocasias. This is one that really likes warm weather, so it's really benefited from the hot summer we've had. And then we've got, this is the bamboo that we transplanted and divided in summer onto this side, and growing up it, we've just got one of these Spanish flags, and look how many flowers are still going on here. And this is well taller than me. It's, you know, it's trying to get above this. That's, you know, about 2.5 meters or so up there, and these have been flowering all summer long. It's still flowering right to the base here, and if you look down here you can see we'll be able to collect the seeds and hopefully they'll germinate next year, so I have plenty more plants because I love this climber, and it's the best it's ever grown, so I'm really pleased with that. On the other side just over here we've got a bit more shade. We've got the tree ferns that have all come back, put out some nice long fronds because they were looking a bit dodgy in spring because we had that cold winter and we didn't know if they were going to survive because some of the knuckles, the croziers in the middle of the plant, were looking a bit dead and brown and black. This one's come back as well, and the one in the background, that's grown as well, so very pleased that all the tree ferns survived. And finally, just look at this. This is the ginger that we divided a few months ago. This is Forestii, flowering now. Starts flowering at the end of August into September. Has a slight scent, a really faint scent, nothing strong or overpowering, but a really good doer. Grows really big. This has been obviously divided, so it's not grown to its full potential. It's normally taller than me. It's normally 2 meters tall, but I've divided this into about 6-7 plants right round the garden. So yeah, this area's come on really well. The next job this winter will be finishing off the area behind me. As you can see, it's just soil and just bare ground. That'll be dug over, plenty of fresh topsoil, and then we can plant it up for next year. Now today I've picked up 3 new ferns for the garden. 2 of them are British natives. We've got the Polypodium vulgare, and that likes a bit of sun or filtered light, so it doesn't want deep shade, and it's a ground fern, but it can be epiphytic, growing sort of on trees in rock faces and things like that as well, so you see that all over the country. But I like the sort of simpler fern leaf on this one, and that'll go straight into the ground without any extra compost. The next one we've got is an Asplenium, and the full name is on the screen now. And this is a special type of Asplenium. It's the hart's tongue fern, is a common one that you get in the UK. This likes neutral or even alkaline soil, a bit of sun, but not midday sun because it will burn the leaves, and well drained soil. This one's got loads of frilly edges. It looks a bit different from the normal heart's tongue fern, so I'll be planting that one. And the final one are these two beautiful painted fern, Japanese painted ferns. And these do need of neutral to acidic soil, so I'll be using some special ericaceous compost in the ground before I plant these. And the full name for those are here, Niponicum metallicum. So these have got really interesting multicoloured leaves, mainly silvery grey green. We've also got some pink on the midrib there, so very nice. And these need really moist conditions, so I'll show you where I'm going to plant them. We've got here, as you can see, pretty moist ground underneath the tree ferns which have the drippers in, so this would be where I plant the painted ferns. And then with a little bit more sun, a bit more light on this side, a little bit drier as well, I'll plant the other two ferns. You'll notice on this tree fern we've got a little seedling that's come all the way from Australia. This is a acacia that just grows. Some seeds obviously found themselves in the trunk and have germinated, but that won't really survive long because it's probably a tender type of acacia. But I might try taking that off and planting that out as well. So right, let's get planting up the ferns. So I'm going to plant this Polypodium vulgare in this corner, which gets decent light but not too much direct sunlight, and it's well drained, this area, so I'm just going to dig a hole. Really good friable soil and compost mixed in here. Just plant it like that, like that. And there we are. Nice native plant, but it gives an exotic feel. And there we have the planted painted ferns in the very shady and very moist soil, so hopefully they should thrive. We have the hart's tongue fern here, a bit more light. It's pretty well drained soil there. And just over there we've got the Polypodium vulgare, again decent light there and well drained soil, so hopefully they'll thrive. You may remember back at the start of the series, in episode I think it was 2 or 3, I got these Trachycarpus hybrids, these Wagenarius princeps crosses, and also 49 nanus crosses, and these were potted up in perlite and compost back in, I think it was September, October. Now it's time to pot them on. I'll just show you what the roots are like. I've just taken this one out. You can see got loads of healthier roots there, and so I'm going to pot them up into much bigger pots. And I'm just going to basically use Johnny Inn's number 2 potting up compost, which is loam based, and I'm going to use some horticultural grit as well. So this was a compost and grit mixture that I used. It was 1 part grit, 2 parts compost, nice and free draining. And these are the potted up palms in good sized pots, so they should last a couple of years at least in these pots. Keep them well watered, give them a bit of feed. They'll settle in nicely before winter arrives. Now I grow a lot of arid plants in my garden, including this agave lophantha, which is surprisingly hardy in the garden. It's been out 3 winters now, it's not shown any damage whatsoever, and it's got to quite a big plant. And this, along with many of my other smaller gardes in pots came from my gardening friend Joel Robinson, and early in the summer we went to have a look at his garden, and this is a video we made.
My garden's in the South Pennines near Hebden Bridge on a south-facing hillside, and it's quite exposed to the wind but has the benefit of the sun. It's very small, but I think of it as sort of quite a quality kind of garden. Lots of cacti and succulents where I can fit them in, as well as the usual exotics: palms, bananas, eucomis, colocaceas, one or two unusual things, the occasional orchid, some large cacti in pots, and I try with aloe polyphylla, which I grow from seed, and I've not had one survive more than a couple of winters yet, but I think hopefully this time I've found the right spot and should have some success. Agaves have been in the ground for well in excess of 5 years, and some are doing fine now that I protect them. Same with a few cacti. They like a bit of protection but do absolutely fine if you give it them the right kind of cacti, the cold hardy cacti. This year is a prolific year for growth. A few things that have never done so well. A Dacilarian from seed, only 9 years old, in flower. Cacti doing well. The Opuntias are putting out more pads than they ever have. The bananas have grown enormous in the last 3 months, and it's just generally been a good year for them.
What a fantastic garden Joel has got, obviously concentrating on the arid plants, most of which have been grown from seed or very small plants acquired from specialist nurseries. So many different hybrids, with the cold hardy puyas planted in the ground here, as well as agaves and aloes and real cacti, opuntias. Full range of arid plants, echeverias here as well, and these are grown in these raised beds with lots of gravel for drainage, but they do face a full force of winter storms and lots of rains in this high upland area of northern England and the southern Pennines. But they're doing well for Joel. But it's not just the arid plants that Joel grows, also has a lush tropical plants like the colocaceas and this Onsete Haniba banana that's grown really well in a sunny position, and also things like the Tetrapanax papyrifera rex grapevines over this arbour. Cycad's doing well, Cycad revoluta here, and lots of different varieties of eucomis, mostly grown in pots but some planted out in the ground. Flowering puyas, showing that they like the conditions up here north of England, and a fantastic garden overlooking beautiful countryside. What a fantastic garden Joel has, and hopefully in winter we'll be returning to it to see how everything's protected over winter. Right, time to do some other jobs in the garden. Here at the front of the garden we've got the Phylostachys vivax bamboo that's grown lots of culms this year, so it's a big bushy green hedge basically. It's blocking a bit of light out the Canary Island date palm there and the Yucca strata there in the morning. So what I'm going to do is take out all the culms that are hanging at an angle, which there's many of, all the thin, damaged and old culms. I'm really going to let a lot of light in this area and just concentrate on the upward thicker culms. So I've got my tools that I'm going to use for the big culms and the smaller culms. So let's get cracking. And there's the finished result, taking away about 2/3 of all the foliage and canes, leaving it see-through, the bottom 2/3 and 1/3 of greenery at the top, maybe a bit more. You can see right through there now. You can see the phoenix palm has lots more light, but it has caused me a headache because I've got loads and loads of foliage to get rid of, which won't fit in a wheelie bin. So there's the final result. I'm quite pleased with that.
pruning the bamboos.
So as well as having a great summer in the garden, I've had some good news, and that is next year I'll be opening the garden for the NGS scheme. So anybody can come to the garden, have a look round, be an admission fee and all the money goes to charity. And this will be part of the National Garden Scheme Yellow Book, which you've probably been to many of the gardens if you live in England. So yeah, the garden will be open next August. So hopefully you'll join me then, and you'll join me on my journey to getting the garden ready for the open day, because there'll be a lot to do. Got to do all the weeding, got to get all the planting done, get everything ready. Got to get everything for winter to begin with, make sure the plants survive, and so they can be looking good next summer. So yeah, that's really great news, quite exciting news, something to focus on and get the garden ready for August next year for the opening. Thank you for watching this edition of Yorkshire Kris Weekly. Join me next week where we're planting out new plants, and we should have a new arrival to the garden, so join me then. I'm playing. Right, go.